And once upon the time, it's a long story, but I'm going to try to keep it short. I fell in love with a girl at school. I will be taking the next questions one after one. How did I actually start to change? So, when I was in high school, precisely the last year, I was in love with a girl at school for about 2 years. And I was not able to tell her that I love you or even say good morning to her in any stage of the education life. The last day going to college or university was the last day in the high school, and I decided, okay, at least I should tell her that I wish you the best. At least I should tell her that I hope everything works out well. Like, I just say something nice and end it on something nice. So I kept thinking about it for the whole night before I go back to the school on the very, very last day. And gathering all my thoughts and all my power, I decided, okay, now it's time to go and tell her. And it was in the morning. It was about 10:15 or 10:30, just before the morning break. And I saw her standing by herself, and I said, that's an ultimate opportunity. So I walked up to her, and I want you to pay attention to this. I was actually chewing some gum in my mouth. Walked up to her, had that smile on, and I went to her, and I absolutely froze. I could not say anything whatsoever. I was like this. How bad that is, what happened next is the chewing gum sort of fell off my mouth and I dribbled. I was so terrified and I was so angry with myself, so much that I decided to go home. And that was the first day ever in my life I actually go home early. And I left and I was going home. As I was walking down the street, there was a bookstore and they had the book outside. And the book, it says on it like this: How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. When I looked at the title, I had everything. I had good family, I have very good educational background, but I don't have the friends and I can't influence people. And when I saw the title of the book, I was like, wow, this is like finding kryptonite for me. So I grabbed the book and I started reading. At that moment, I was actually standing on the street, just going through the book. I lost consciousness of time and I could not believe that I kept reading. Someone came, tapped on my shoulder, "Are you okay?" I ended up paying for the book and taking it home. And all the way I'm reading, 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 reading until I finished the book completely. Until I finished the book. And that was the very, very, very starting stone to change, to become the person I am today and to grow that confidence through that book. I have read this book millions of times. This is a very old book. It has been translated to so many languages. Over 2 million or 5 million copies have been sold. And on top of this, so many languages, I think off top of my memory, 70 something languages. But that was the actual start. And Dale Carnegie is an American writer that wrote this book, I don't know, 1950, 1960, when it was the black and white kind of time. And the book has been selling, and it's still, until today, it still goes really, really wild, because he was the father of personal development and professional development, the founder. And from there onwards, I started to read books, attend seminars, learn more what's happening. And I never really got a chance to say anything to that girl. And one of the very top chapters in the very beginning of the book, it says how to smile. When you see someone, smile to that person. At that time, I was a geek, I was a nerd, I don't know, I couldn't really smile, thank you. And I learned how to smile from that book, how to actually smile. The writer describes the smile in a perfect way of how to smile and have an impact with the person. So the book was saying, when I was reading it, if you're reading this book and you have some time to waste, go ahead and place this book in the next garbage bin. But if you're reading and you're ready to apply, proceed. And when I was reading that sentence, that made me sort of stop and think, okay, what am I really willing to do? Am I really willing to do whatever it takes so I can handle the situation. And I thought to myself, if you're gonna give me that, what you're saying, to make friends and have influence on people, I am going to do everything that you say, no matter what. And that's exactly what happened. I started applying, and I was coming out of the house the very next day, and I saw a very, very nice lady across the street. We kind of, our eyes kind of met, and I remember straight away, okay, how do I smile? How do I smile? I want to smile. And I remembered everything, and I smiled, and she smiled back. When she smiled back, that was a moment. That was the moment where I completely believed in the book, and I thought to myself, everything in this book I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do whatever it takes for this book to get me to the person I want to be. That was the very, very starting step on the level that I have captured. And from there, I started to grow my confidence. From there, I started to talk to people. I started to learn how to manage myself. And I will be now taking the next question. Very great book. Hello for everybody that is joining in. The name of the book, that's a quick question we can answer over here for Instagram. The name of the book is How to Make Friends and Have Influence on People. How to Make Friends, Have Influence on People, by an American writer called Dale Carnegie. And I do have a copy of the book in a couple of languages. Let's go ahead and look at the next question. Joey, hello, good to see you. I'm going to take your question now. Joey, how did you become a doctor? Very good question. How do you become a doctor? That is something that you will have to gather what kind of doctor that you want to be. But when I was at the university, my first bachelor, my dad is a doctor and he's a surgeon. So it runs in the family. My family are a couple of divisions, or maybe 3 divisions: police, military, that's one. Other ones are lawyers, and the last sect are doctors. So looking around the family, I could not really see anything different than those kind of criteria. So hello for everybody that is joining in on all the platforms. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your presence, and I will be taking your questions. Please stay with me. It's one person, and I'm doing this all by myself, so bear with me. I will help each and every one of you. Okay, so how do you become that? Number one thing, you need to really learn how to study, Joey. That's very important to understand. You need to learn how to study. Learning how to study is half of the way if you want to achieve any direction in medicine or whatever job or whatever qualification you want to have. Learning how to study, learning how to summarize, and learning how to focus on the important questions. And when you go into the exam, you score high marks. That's number one. Number two, you need to see the end result. Why do you want to be what you want to be? Okay, so part of it, for example, if you wanted to become a doctor, and I'm not in medicine, my background is psychology, it's just not medicine, but if you wanted to become in medicine or a doctor, general practitioner, whatever, you will be passing a series of exams and then coming to an interview where you need to perform in that interview to convince them, why do you want to be a doctor? And you need to give them very strong reasons how inspired you are to be a doctor, because they need to justify the amount of money they're going to spend on you to teach you to become a doctor. Number three, you need to understand that when you make a decision on something, you're going to follow through and you're going to fight until you arrive. Okay, that's the top 3 important questions. We've got the next question here. Butter, how are you? Good to see you. And it was, can you play intermittent? If so, can you play for us next stream? I don't even know what is intermittent. So I'm not a gamer, Buttermilk. I'm so sorry about that, but I'm not actually a gamer, so can't really help you with that one. But there will be some people that are into gaming on any of the platforms here that you can meet. If anybody that can play with Buttermilk, okay, so if you guys into games, maybe Buttermilk can join you and you can play together. Thank you so much for the next question. I appreciate it. What have we got over here? Thank you, little Pars. Good to see you. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a bit delayed because there's quite a few happening here. Let's go ahead and take the next one. Hello, hello, Lolly. Good to see you. Um, not really sure. Hi, David. Like, pulse, or please video. Yeah, if you're watching on any platform, make sure that you like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed before. And I'll be taking the very next question very shortly. Thank you, Smart. How are you? Next question we'll be taking question from Facebook. What have we got over here, Mark? How can you influence others? Very good question. How can you influence others? Always works if you know what is their end game, what do they try to achieve, and what makes them tick and what doesn't. From that point moving forward, you can then go ahead and influence them. People, and I always say this, that we are in a way like robots in some way or form. And being robots in a way or form, that means if you press the right button, you're going to get the result that you want to get. The tactic here and the technical skill here comes in identifying that right button and when to press it and how to press it. This is how you influence others. This is how you motivate others. Let's say, for example, if you're asking a question or you want to be, let's say, a lawyer, right? And I'm trying to convince you to be a policeman. Every time I'm going to try to influence you, I'm going to try to persuade you, I'm going to try to motivate you about being a police officer. It's not going to work because it's not in your interest. And that is something that you will have to think about when you are trying to motivate people or influence people. Do I know the Muffin Man? Thanks. How's it going? It's going well. Thank you. I don't know who is the Muffin Man. What have we got over here? About the pandemic, we have over here another one from Samir. Good to see you, Samir. How are you? We got a question here to give a good notice to the people about the pandemic. I guess if you are watching any of my platforms, you will see that I have made series of videos about YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, that we need to be staying home and we need to be extremely cautious to handle the scenario that we are in. That is extremely important. Now, in Australia, obviously being on lockdown, as we all are aware, it is very important to follow those rules. Not sure if you guys know this or not. However, I want you to know that Google is now tracking your movements. So for those people who have opted in leaving their tracking history or history visits on Google, Google is already tagging your locations, making sure that you are staying home and you're not going around and reporting this information to health authorities. There was a couple of articles about this already done today. That's the second article that I have read. So your moves are tracked. Another thing that we can add to that is the number of cases in Australia has risen recently only in WA, but in Sydney, New South Wales, it seems to be flattening, and that means that whatever we're doing is working. There might be still some cases in the community hidden somewhere, and we will find them out. Now, how long that is going to take on that lockdown that we are in until we find the solution, we're not really certain, but give or take, if we did the right thing, this is only my personal prediction. This is just a thought in my mind, so I don't want you to hold me accountable for this in the future. However, as a good thought, if we got those people that have COVID-19 and they have been treated, and then the rest of the community are absolutely clear, then that will be very, very much the end of that lockdown. Once we get those people, there's no more new cases, that will be the end. So the more we comply, the more we follow that, then that will be pretty much the more end result it will arrive at. That's basically what it is. And if this is 2 months, if this is 3 months, I guess whatever it is, that's going to be the case. Okay, I'll be taking the very next question. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if I've skipped something over here. How did you develop your followers on TikTok? All right, well, that's a very good question. Um, Followers on TikTok. I'll have to say that I'm new on TikTok, so I'm actually currently, I believe I'm under shadow ban, which is, that means that the videos I make are not really going to the For You page or the main screen. I don't know why that happened, but I have been on TikTok for a couple of months now. I joined in January, and we are sort of in April, so just above 2 months. And I have developed those followers. I believe I don't really have a secret formula other than I stayed consistent. I posted every day, all the time. I made TikTok part of my life, part of what I do. TikTok, YouTube, I've been on social media for a number of years. YouTube since 2006. So I guess you get used to that, and then you sort of give yourself the idea that this is part of my daily task and this is what I do all the time. Number two, I believe I connected with the people very well here on TikTok, that I answer their questions, I respond to them. I never treat them like followers or that they are not important to me. I treat everyone as important to me as a friend. And I think being like this, although it's very time consuming and I have to respond to comments, and my team was responding to comments as well, and we're all doing a lot of work. I guess this reasons with the people that they know I am real and I'm a person and I'm here to help. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I didn't have any other agenda like other people might have their own agendas of selling you stuff. I didn't have any of that. So they kind of connected with that, realized I have a target, and my target was very clear. And it was the very first video that I put over here on TikTok, which is I introduced myself and I said what my goal is and what my vision is. And if you are into learning and you want to learn stuff from me for free, join me and follow me. And since then, my goal, my vision, my mission has always been the same. And there's so many people that I have met that sort of reinforce that. They live by that principle. And I do remember here we've got Ozzy over here as well. Thanks for joining, Ozzy, where he helped me to generate a keyword that I live by. Together we had a chat about this, and then the word sort of came, purpose with values, that you have a purpose where to go and you have the right values that project in that trajectory of that purpose that is noble and nice. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I hope I answered that question. Renee has got a question. What does it mean when my partner only tells me he loves me when he is drunk? Hi, Sash. Good to see you. I'm not sure how to answer. Not sure how to answer that one, Renee. But generally speaking, pardon me. Corona time right now. I don't have anything. I'm fine. I've been isolating for quite some time. So, plus we're on the camera, so that's okay. Renee, I'm not really sure what does it mean, but all I can tell you about alcohol, it's not my specialty about alcohol, but I know one thing as a medical fact, that alcohol heightens the emotion. Alcohol heightens the emotion. What does that mean? Means if the emotion is there, it gets super, super amplified. So if your partner is telling you that he loves you when he's drunk, that tells me he loves you. And when the alcohol kicks in, the alcohol is heightening that emotion, so he's actually verbalizing it. When he is sober, I take it from your question that he doesn't say it as much when he's sober. And the reason for that could be there's some men fail to express how they feel to women. And I have made a video about this here on TikTok. It's called Single, and then have a question mark on it. I'm actually talking about this particular point, and I'll suggest you watch it. So because they can't express their emotions when alcohol is there, it's heightening the emotion, it's coming up. So all I could say, if he's telling you that he loves you when he's drunk, that's good news, but you need to talk with him more if you wanted more interactions. Sash, ciao, bello, ciao, how are you? Ciao, Italian greeting. Let's go. They have a lot of questions over here. It's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. You can take it in a positive way. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with all the questions. 100% values that drive our actions matter. Thank you so much for You are more than welcome, Renee. God bless you and your family. What is not sure. This is the thing with TikTok for the lives. It's much easier over here because I could see a very long list of questions and a space over here on TikTok for those people who've never been live before. That's why I keep scrolling. The live screen questions part and the comments is like that much. So by the time I scroll, I'm trying to see what was up, what was down. So yeah, Renee, where are you from, Renee? Where are you tuning in from, guys? I don't know where is everybody from, so if you can let me know where you are tuning in from. I'm from Sydney, Australia, if we are meeting for the first time, and I'm Dr. Joe Isaac. And you guys obviously know me, so that's okay. What else is happening? Renee is from Sydney, Australia as well. Nice, nice, nice. And where are you from, Crazy Carol? And who else was it? Sash? Not sure if Sash is still with us. People seem to drop in and out over here with the connection. If you guys can hear me okay, just give me a 1 on the screen so I know that we've got the voice is happening, because my camera seemed to be working. Just put 1 on the screen, or hearts or anything. We've got Sydney, Australia over here, where you can't really meet each other because you're on different platforms. So I was about to say platforms. I don't know, it's platforms. Yeah, I'll be taking the very next question. I have a tickle in my throat for some reason. All right, let's go ahead and answer the next question. How do you connect on an emotional level? Very good question. Thank you. How do you connect on a very deep emotional level? It's a very difficult question, because if you want to tap into the emotions of people, you would really have to understand exactly how their brain work. Now, the question sort of needs context. Like, why do you want to connect so deeply with people on an emotional level? Yeah, like, is it you're trying to get in touch with someone, you're trying to build a relationship, or is it I'm just gonna have to wait for verification because I don't want to be answering something until I hear back from you? Thank you. You're welcome. Take care. Bye. Now, the next question, until you verify, I'll be looking at over here. Thank you for tuning in. Please let me know where you're watching from. I have a sore throat. No, it's not sore throat. It's just a tickle. Okay. It's just a tickle, nothing more than this. We'll be getting close to our end of our life, so I'll be only taking maybe a couple more questions, and then after this, more likely, we're gonna move and we'll be in touch again. So I'm just waiting for the verification over here. Okay, all right. So how do you get someone to love you, in other words? Okay. Now, that's a good question. How do you get someone to love you? I'll tell you my steps and how I use it all the time. If you want people to love you, number one thing from the very first day, you need to be yourself. Biggest mistake that a lot of people do, and I have to warn people from doing such mistake, is if you're trying to project a different image than who you really are in the way you are, they're gonna start falling and loving that person that is not actually you. Then you're gonna have a problem with this. So what I'm saying here is, try to be yourself, to show the people who you really are, and then from that moment onwards, they can decide whether they want to love that person or not. That's number one. Step number two, to get someone to love you, is to look at your worst qualities that you haven't managed to change or you don't want to change, and show them that. Okay. Now, they have to make a decision to accept you for who you are, love you for who you are, or stay away. It's better to do it this way than do it in any other way, because later down the track, they're gonna realize, all right, well, this is really not the person that we wanted to be with. So it's better to be transparent and put that forward. After this, you need to show them also your amazing side of how diligent you are, of how nice you are. The truth and the reality. Now, you only hear truthful answers from me. I will never tell you to trick people or lie to them to get them to fall for you. You will never hear this from me. Obviously, there are people that play these games and psychological tricks. I don't condone that. I don't agree with it. And certainly, I would not be suggesting that anybody does this. And moving on from here, give them time to reflect and think about you. Don't be too pushy all the time. Give them time to think, give them time and give them space so they can want you. All right. So appreciate that. And that's a great question. Let's have a look at the next one over here. Hi, Matthew. How are you? Matthew Nugget, my sister likes the way you look. Okay, thank you, Matthew, for you and for your sister. I'm glad that you're joining here. Thank you. I've got that. I'll be taking the very next question over here. Sorry, still typing. Okay, so we'll wait for that one. If you have any questions, let me know right now, which is good. Number two, let me know where are you tuning in from? Are you watching from Sydney? Are you watching from the US, Canada? Whereabouts are you watching from? What do you think of the music in the background? Is it too loud? Is it okay? Brilliant advice. Finding a partner in your journey needs to be based on honesty and transparency. Ozzy, thank you so much. Ozzy, always beautiful comments, always really insightful remarks. Thank you. You're such an inspiration to me, and I'm sure to many others. Now we've got Nepal over here. It's good to see you. And I will be taking the very next question. But before I take that, tell me how the music is in the background. What do you think? Is it okay? Is it loud? Excellent over here. Fantastic. It's good. All right, fantastic. So let's take the very next question. Oh my God, is that a question or a script of some thought? So let me just paraphrase it, just so I can understand. Are you saying that how did I get shadow banned or how long it will take? Is that the summary of what you're saying? If you can just confirm, just give me one on the screen so we can answer that one. Thank you so much, user. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you. Yes, okay. So in relation to the shadow ban, I'm not actually sure. If any of you have experienced the shadow ban, please let me know what was your experience. I don't know how it happened, and I don't know how long it will last. All I know that my videos are not getting the traction they used to be getting, and I'm documenting that process. I don't see that I have done anything wrong. So I think I've discussed that in another part before. And in fact, I'm making a TikTok series how to develop influence and grow with people on TikTok. And there's quite a few episodes about it. And the last episode that I have made was about the 5 destructive mistakes that when people do, their account gets shadow banned. That is something that we know. But I haven't done any of those 5 or anything that can put me in jeopardy. I think that's what I understood from you, and I hope I answered your question. Thank you so much for joining in. I do appreciate your presence and your questions. I am glad that we happen to hang out together and feel that we're not disconnected from the world. We can always connect together. So thank you for joining in, for your support, for amazing remarks. Thank you for being here and watching and asking questions and keeping us company. Thank you for joining in. I think that is it for today. I will see you on the next video. And thank you and have a beautiful day, a beautiful night. Cheers.